The Carthaginians that almost defeated Rome black? It's a touchy subject, but there's actually some cool new data to help us answer questions like this. But before getting into that, we might as well define what we mean by black. For instance, in the US, black often means just African American, but as a more general term, it just means dark skin. But even then, it's usually restricted to people with sub-Saharan African ancestry. So for instance, dark-skinned people from India aren't often considered black. Some people don't consider North Africans to be black, but that's often just because they have lighter skin. But there's also some North Africans with darker skin that maybe would be considered black. So the real question is, if you saw a Carthaginian walking around in the United States, would you say, that dude's black? The answer, based on a recent 2025 ancient genetics study, is it's complicated. And this is because the study shows that Carthaginians were very multicultural and genetically diverse. Some Carthaginians had a lot of Southern European ancestry, and others had a lot of North African ancestry, and others had a lot of Middle Eastern ancestry. So if you saw a Carthaginian with a lot of Southern European or Middle Eastern ancestry, you probably wouldn't consider them black. And this was more common in the sample from the study. But some individuals from the study had almost 50% North African ancestry. And so for some of those people, they might be considered looking like they were mixed in the United States. So they might have darker skin, coily hair, and other features considered mixed or black. And something that makes it even more complicated is that basically all the samples had at least like 15% North African ancestry. So none of them were just straight Europeans or Middle Easterners genetically. So the answer of whether Carthaginians were black or not is as simple or complicated as your definition of black. Realistically, a lot of them just wouldn't fit the category white or black as defined colloquially in the United States. If you create some all-encompassing definition of either of those, you can easily just lump Carthaginians into whatever group you want. But you'll just end up cutting a lot of nuance out of a much more interesting story.